Good morning, coffee moaners. Sorry for the slight delay. How are we all?
Good morning, coffee moaners. I'm just heating up some milk. I'll be with you in 2 minutes.
Nadia will be back. She will be with us shortly. How are you all? Thank you again so much for all of your lovely messages of support and concern and care. Maddie absolutely injured her knee. It's a kneecap injury. She dislocated her knee. She sort of had a dislocated patella. And apparently, when we told Dina this, she said that she's known cases of a kneecap being discovered at the back of someone's leg.
Well, it was running one of her dance classes.
One of her drum classes. Now, I've heard about the idea that the kneecap can move around. So yeah. Anyway, but thank you so much. Obviously, it played havoc for Nads. Was up at the surgery. I went up and back and up and down.
What's wrong with you?
Not at the surgery, at the hospital. You know what I mean?
Surgery. Yeah. No, because I wanted to say to them, for all of you, because I know. We, thank God, don't go to hospitals too much, but I know quite a few of you do. And Dawny was saying earlier on Instagram, my God, those waiting rooms. I've been to hospital 3 times in the last week. My mum, my dad, and now Maddie. Yeah. And it is hard work, isn't it?
It's hardcore.
Those seats are as hard as rocks. You're there for hours and hours and hours. And the nurse said to us, "Oh, sorry, Monday's our busiest day." When I said that to Dina, she went, "Crap. They must say that every day. Why would Monday be busier than any other day?" But I mean, I have to say, every single member of staff we spoke to, bar one, were just so lovely. But tip, guys, if somebody dislocates their knee, do not slap it back into space. Because when I did mine when I was a kid in dance class, that's what my ballet teacher did. And it actually turned all right, but it can be so dangerous.
Well, the biggest concern I had, because I've done my cruciate ligament, my biggest concern was going to be her cruciate, which of course a cruciate ligament. And apparently, I think we've talked about it here before, but cruciate ligament injuries in young women are on the increase, mainly because more and more women are playing football. And apparently women's legs, this isn't sexist, this is just a biological determinist thing. Apparently women's legs and Achilles and cruciates are not as strong as they kind of need to be for some of the pivots, moves, tackles, and stuff of the modern game. So,
was that men that looked into that? I bet that's not true.
No, I think I can understand. I mean, I don't think we can pretend that you wouldn't have women and men's sports if women and men's bodies were identical. So I think it's okay to kind of say that without it being sexist, isn't it? I mean, it's a fact. Just more and more young women who play football are coming in with cruciate ligaments. Cruciate ligaments in women are more vulnerable than they are in men, and it's such a painful thing. Anyway, so it was a huge relief that it wasn't that. And because we have all historically, Nanny, Di, everyone, Nadia, knee injuries, Teddy, as soon as we knew it was a knee, we all went into the wince, didn't we? Yeah. And we were in like we were in a 24-hour wince. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, but thank you so much. Obviously, all of our family guest members knew before anyone else, because of course we were going to do the Sunday show, which is in fact now happening tonight. So the No Name Sunday show on a Monday this week is on a Tuesday. That's going to be the title of it. Hopefully it'll fit in the title block. But anyway, so we'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock or thereabouts. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about this morning. Obviously late last night, we went live because Donald Trump, and I need to say this just quickly, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, ceasefire. We've got a ceasefire. Does anyone else find it almost sinister, the breeziness with which he delivers seismic news, whether good or bad? It's like this is just a sort of matter-of-fact detail, when in fact the fates of millions and millions of people, and more often than not, the fates of Muslim people, more than necessarily Israeli people, until the Iran-Israel conflict, are in the line of fire. And he's just like, thank you for attending to this matter. It's like it's like he's more obsessed with kind of signing off with the etiquette of a kind of 6-year-old who's written his first letter at school. So weird. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the ceasefire. What ceasefire? Israel's saying there isn't one. They're saying Iran broke the ceasefire.
Well, now, Iran, hands up if that surprised you.
Well, and hands up who believes them, because Iran have said we haven't fired anything. So, I mean, it's exactly he says, she says, we say, they say. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about Jessie J. Obviously, we talked about her before a couple of weeks ago, the singer who was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And she uploaded and posted a sort of series of short films about her going into surgery, really. And we've pulled them together for you to have a look at. Very moving. very moving material. And we're also going to talk briefly about Jeff Bezos. I don't know if Tori, you're in the room. I have just texted you, but Venice basically said, fuck off. And it looks like he's having to fuck off, which is amazing because apparently he bought up or booked at almost every single hotel in Venice for his wedding.
I don't know anything about this story. Mark's excited about this, so you can tell me all about it.
Excited, isn't it? But I quite like the idea of Venice basically saying, as a city, go fuck yourself to the Amazon man. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that too. And Nadia has found some hysterical and quite shocking, nostalgic adverts that possibly, as you said earlier, contributed to all sorts of body image issues for an entire generation. So should we talk about the ceasefire?
Yeah.
So as you went to bed, it was late last night. You'd been in A&E for fucking hours. The last thing you needed to deal with was a sort of breezy message from Donald Trump.
I think that's a really good use of the word breezy. Yeah. And that in itself enrages me. He causes chaos and then he appears to sort it all out. And then he stands back.
He goes, yeah.
And that, that is hubris. That is
messianic.
It's so evil. And there's never a moment's attention to the people that die in these war games. Because
there is to the Israelis. There is to every single Israeli.
Those lives don't matter. They do not matter. A Muslim's life does not matter. It's as simple as that. Just I always have to caveat that by saying I'm not Muslim because people assume because my father's Jordanian I'm Muslim. I'm not. My father's Christian.
But the Christians are also being punished by the Israeli Zionist regime.
Yeah. So 200, 300 Iranians. So it doesn't get any column inches whatsoever. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Gazans, irrelevant. And so when he breezes in and drops these horrific bombs, God, I was thinking the other day, doesn't this cause earthquakes and tsunamis as well when you just do this to the planet? Shake it. But anyway, and then he just breezily says, oh, that's me. Ta-da, loves. Yeah, I'm just going to go back to my game of golf.
Yeah, I mean...
Somebody bring me a can of Coke and a Big Mac.
I tell you what, I mean, I have an image every time Donald Trump posts something on Truth Social. The mental image I have is, do you remember when we used to have a crayon as a kid? And you'd be like this. I know he's not doing that, but I mean, that's how I see him. And then right at the end, thank you for your attention in this matter. Thank you, everybody. And then he puts Donald J. Trump. There is such a disconnect between the reality of what's going on in the world and the decisions he's making and the way in which he views the world. It's sinister. He tries to be avuncular. He tries to be, as I said, breezy. He tries to be sort of joshy. It just, and it's not that satire is a good thing, but when you're the president of the United States.
But he is joshing because he genuinely doesn't care. I mean, war games is kind of overused. This is literally a war game.
Yeah.
But what I am fascinated by this is my thing, because I said last night, didn't I, that anyone would be foolish just to take this as read, because every single thing he's done, he has lied about, backtracked, gleefully said, oh, I was just like joking, and look how everybody did what I wanted, and now I'm gonna renegade on everything that I said. But what I really am not sure about is did Israel pretend to him that they agreed to the ceasefire? Because why would Israel suddenly give up with the fact? Because we knew it wasn't about nuclear weapons. We knew it was about regime change.
I'll tell you exactly
what happened there.
Overnight in my deep slumber. I think this is the theory I've got to. Many times in the so-called ceasefire negotiations with Hamas, where the many times that Biden and Blinken would say, well, we've agreed a ceasefire with Israel, and Netanyahu was always a bit mealy-mouthed, would never really say whether he'd agreed to one or not. But there was a sort of tacit suggestion from America that this was something Israel was on board with. And there's always the attempt to make out that Hamas or whoever you're striking the ceasefire with, Hezbollah, were the ones that reneged on some part of the deal. And because the deal or the ceasefire deal was never, ever plopped directly into the full public glare, other than through the kind of representatives of Hamas or Hezbollah. You know, so what I'm saying is, it was always a tilted table where we never got, as the public, we never got to see the terms of any ceasefire. We certainly never got to see the extent to which Israel ever agreed to them. We were taking it on trust from the American authorities that Israel had agreed to this ceasefire, and Hamas. Yeah, no, but they were expecting us to take on trust. None of us did. And I just think this is just a much larger version of that.
So do I.
I think everyone wants to be seen to be interested in a ceasefire. Trump specifically, he's probably said to Israel, look, you need to. Now, the only thing that moderates that thought is the damage to Tel Aviv. And I'm sure there must be an element in Israel, because they are the chosen people, that I mean, what a lot of Israelis need to understand is, if they didn't have such a warmongery leader, they wouldn't be in this situation. It's as plain and simple as that. They just wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people saying, aren't they, that they think that it could be that actually there is damage to Tel Aviv that they don't want. But also, my worry is that they step back and say, oh, we did the ceasefire, they didn't, now we're going to go hell for leather. Well, so it was a retreat, so both Trump and Israel can go, there you go, we tried to reason with these barbarians, with these absolute barbarians that we attacked first. That's what I worry.
James Flanagan sums it up beautifully. He starts the fire, puts the fire out, and wants a fucking biscuit. That's what it seems.
Brilliant.
No, and you've absolutely, and that's exactly it. Look at the tariffs. It's exactly like the tariffs. It's like when Starmer said, "Oh, we've managed to broker a really successful agreement with America." Well, yes, insofar as you've managed to make it less worse than it's become. Yeah. But it's still worse than it was
before you arrived.
So what, so it's not even a Pyrrhic victory. I mean, if this is the art of Trump's deal, create a war to then pretend that you're the one wanting to calm it down, and then you've got no intention of calming it down, but you can say, but look, there's a Truth Social post where I said calm it down.
Exactly.
What has happened 10 minutes ago, this is important. This is a evolving ceasefire, not ceasefire. So 2 hours ago, Israel said they would respond forcefully to what they claim was Iranian missiles that were fired at them 3 hours into, or 3 hours away from when they shouldn't have been fired. It's very confusing, because for those of you who didn't see Donald Trump's statement of what the ceasefire was, basically the ceasefire was this: Iran, you stop fighting first for 12 hours, and then Israel will stop fighting 12 hours
after that. So they've got 12 hours more
to bomb the shit out of Iran. That's like saying in an FA Cup final, we're going to play the first half, but then in the second half, you're not to tackle us, and we're just going to keep shooting the ball at your goal. By which point, when it's bombs, you've destroyed even more of their infrastructure. So you can see it's a bit of a tilted table, isn't it? It's a ceasefire that's
and yet supposedly Iran agreed to that.
And has anyone else seen it? I'm finding it hard to find any public statements of agreement to the ceasefire from Iran. I think they tacitly accepted it. Anyway, so Israel have claimed that Iran have fired missiles. Israel Katz, the man who loves Israel so much he's named himself twice, he said we're going to respond forcefully to the 2 missiles that they claim were fired. Iran has come back and said we didn't fire any missiles. This is a total lie. So this is let me just find the latest breaking news story. Iran accuses Israel of conducting strikes. So Israel struck Iran in 3 stages up until 9 a.m. on Tuesday. The spokesperson of Iran's central military headquarters said. Iranian state TV said a ceasefire would take place in Iran from 7:30. Oh, so that's where they agreed it. Iran's Supreme National Security Council earlier said its armed forces were prepared to decisively respond to renewed attacks. So basically, claims and counterclaims of breaching a tilted ceasefire that benefited Israel more than Iran.
And nothing has surprised us that already Israel is saying to IDF, pound them, they've broken the ceasefire.
Bellicose is a great word, isn't it? Someone who's really sort of warmongery and sort of, yeah. I mean, Israel is just bellicose in their desire to just kind of just flatten and blow up and just attack.
And meanwhile, all the horrors are going on and on and on. The slaughterhouse that is Gaza. It is a slaughterhouse. There's no other way to describe it. And thank you to everyone who commented under my post today. I did a post on Instagram. I was just like, I have literally no more words, because how the world can be standing by and letting this happen day in, day out.
My most sinister worry last night when I saw that Netanyahu had agreed to this was, oh my God, all eyes haven't been totally off Gaza. I mean, the news in Gaza has been that the meat grinder of the Humanitarian Foundation, they've been continually shooting more and more people
every
going
day
for aid every day. And we presume that the tightening of the people in the lower half of Gaza, and but that's been going on. So it's not that we haven't seen that that's been going on, but of course everyone's been slightly nervously concerned about World War III, which was Netanyahu's plan. But I would just want to share this detail. A new Harvard report yesterday has revealed that 377,000, remember Harvard, 377,000 Palestinians are missing.
And how have we been saying that all the way through, guys? Because remember, when the bodies are blown sky high, you can't count them. When the bodies are under the rubble, you can't count them. When children go missing, you can't count them. So the numbers that you are being given that have been the same for so long are just ludicrous numbers.
Yeah, so this is a constant suggestion that Hamas are somehow inflating the death count.
Oh, God.
Is quite
when the official
shocking.
Number is still 50,000, the same that it was like a year ago.
56,000 now. But listen, here's the other thing. The population of Gaza prior to the conflict was in the region of 2.3 to 2.4 million. And when you look at the statistics that are being talked about now, where everyone agrees upon a population of about 1.9 million, this figure is a figure everyone needs to lock into their head. We're looking missing. What does missing mean? Missing will mean that the vast majority of them are dead.
Look at an aerial shot of Gaza. It's flattened, right? Remember, no international help whatsoever to help people out of the rubble. Imagine how many people are under the rubble.
Yeah. 377,000. That is a figure. If you actually and I think the reason people will kind of look at that figure and choose not to engage with it, whilst 55,000 is horrific.
People can kind of manage with 55,000.
377,000.
55,000. They're only Muslims.
You're starting to approach 500,000. In that thing that we did in maths called rounding up. You're starting to approach 500,000.
And and
I just want to on that, because we are just in Gaza just for a minute, and I think it's really important because all of our focuses need to pivot back to Gaza whilst big boys with their big toys kind of flap them around in the air. The head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees said on Tuesday this morning, a recently established US-backed system for aid distribution, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, this is the UN says, was an abomination. Philippe Lazzarini said at a press conference in Berlin, the newly created so-called aid mechanism is an abomination that humiliates and degrades desperate people. It is a death trap costing more lives than it saves.
Now, remember, the UN, the International Court of Justice, these very important organizations have been reduced to, very cleverly, by Israel and America and the UK and all these people that haven't adhered to the arrest warrants and all of this. They've made them null and void, right? But the thing is, to decent people that want international law, I still look to these people and what they say, and we should, because we've discovered that actually the International Court of Justice is only for the countries that
are savages.
Yeah, that we think are savages. Well, I think what America and Israel are doing are unbelievably savage and barbaric.
Well, I think
so that is the UN, and they do have good people working there. No organization is perfect, but we ought to still be listening, even though our leaders tell us not to listen to these people. Absolutely. And put sanctions on the International Court of Justice when they say something that they don't like.
I also just want to reiterate, this statistic is from Harvard. And let's not forget, Harvard, by Donald Trump's own terms, is a hot seat of anti-Semitism. Of course, that's Harvard. But also, just finally on this, weaponization of food in Gaza constitutes a war crime. The UN Human Rights Office said on Tuesday that the weaponization of food for civilians in Gaza constitutes a war crime, and its strongest remarks yet on a new model of aid distribution. And that's just a reiteration. That quote
Desperate, hungry people in Gaza continue to face the inhumane choice of either starving to death or risk being killed while trying to get food. Can we all, world, actually take that in? Let's shift that to another religion, say like a white Christian.
So 21 people
have
been killed today.
White Christians, say, for instance, and they've been starved for like 2 years with bags of flour, and as they run to get the flour, we shoot them dead. Are we going to feel differently? And I think that's the perfect moment to go on to Miss.
Yeah, and I just want to read this final bit. The weaponization of food for civilians, in addition to restricting or preventing their access to life-sustaining services, constitutes a definitive war crime, and under certain circumstances may constitute elements of other crimes under international law. I mean,
well, anyone that doesn't think that's a war crime has a real problem. Anyone that thinks there's nothing wrong with starving people running for flour and you shoot them dead, well, then what kind of a person are you?
And let me just explain in a sort of simplistic terms from a media studies perspective. The reason the media becomes entirely complicit in this genocide is that the longer the media refuses to challenge, ask, or hold to account our leaders, it allows this to happen by omission. Starmer and Lammy could quite rightly say, well, we haven't been asked the question. We haven't been asked. Well, they know they're not going to be asked the question.
Because they don't go anywhere where they're going to be asked the difficult question.
Their aides and the PR team and the publicity machine only plop them in front of those people that aren't going to ask them the challenging questions. So it's totally rigged. It's a totally rigged system.
So this morning I was listening to Miss Anne Harriman. Follow him. He's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And he was talking, he was saying how he had, just as a sort of a bit of an exercise, had asked all his really sort of most lefty, most progressive friends, don't think about this too much, but if I say to you the word terrorist, what's the first image that you get? And he said every single one of them was honest and had to say they see a Muslim man. Mm. Right. And that is because the world has done the most brilliant job through movies, through TV shows, through magazines, through, well, all sorts of things to brainwash us that the groups that are terrorists, because there of course are, groups of Muslim, look at ISIS came out of Iraq and the Iraq war. Remember that? So there are, of course, terrorist groups, but they've managed to do this thing that when we see Muslim, we see terrorism. We see a terrorist. And that is so disgusting. And then after that, Mark was telling me about a live that he watched yesterday on the Young Turks that we talk about often. It's a brilliant YouTube channel, 6.4 million followers. And the owner of it, the lead presenter, who had his own show on MSNBC, but he kept being too honest. He's progressive. He's a liberal. He's incredibly smart and, passionate. But in this live last night, he lost his shit. And actually, having just watched a tiny clip, because you can watch the whole video, both Mark and I said, we're literally worried for his health. He's going to have a heart attack. And the reason why am I saying all of this before we show you this clip is because I don't want anyone to go think, oh, that's just a crazy, he's actually Turkish. Oh, that's just a crazy Muslim. He's not just a crazy Muslim. What he is, and he's actually turned his back on his faith, but he's desperate after day after day after day after day, trying to make people understand what is actually going on and what a horror story it is. So we just wanted to play you this little clip and see it in that way around, that he lost his shit because it's time to lose shit.
And I mean, I think I caught this in mid-flow while they were live. So, and I was with him I forget the name of his female co-presenter. She had to reach in and kind of help out and kind of calm.
Go and watch the whole show, but we're just showing a little clip because
everyone has a breaking point.
This is how I felt this morning with the post that I posted on Instagram.
Now it's been screen recorded. Nads did it, so just at the front you'll see the play signs. That's a bit odd, but you can hear it.
Yes, Muslim lives matter. I'm so sick of our lives not mattering. And American media, you are guilty. You're the ones who got the whole country, my whole life, to hate me, to hate my Muslim family, to hate all Muslims across the world. You're the sick sons of bitches that called us terrorists. Does my life matter? Does my life matter? Does my
It was when I watched it. It was because we follow. First off, I thought, "Fucking hell, he's going to have a heart attack," genuinely. And then, of course, what he's saying. The important thing here is what I love about him. He's a very emotive kind of presenter, and he talks from the heart. Everyone has a breaking point, and that breaking point can manifest in very different ways. It can manifest in radicalization. It can manifest in fury. It can manifest in deep depression. You know, there are times where me and Nadia, we did a whole How to Stay Married about this, where our flow and energy flow, sometimes each of us at a different time needs to retreat back from the news just to take a sort of spiritual breath in order to kind of come back, knowing that we've kind of managed to hook a lot of people into looking at this in a different way and peeling back the headlines and becoming aware and being mindful that there is a history way before October the 7th and how we're being spun alive. And his fury there with the mainstream media. I mean, just the point that you just made was really interesting, what you just said about how the media, just as a small example, I remember as a young guy, when I first saw Back to the Future, sensational film, excitement, Spielberg, everything. I always remember the very first scene of Back to the Future. I don't know if anyone remembers when he first comes back from the past. It's a VW van of literally jabbering terrorists. And they were portrayed as Arabs, Muslims. And it's just like that. That's an interesting example of how that's low-level characterization seeps into the consciousness. Spielberg wasn't making a comment necessarily when that film was, well, it's Zemeckis directed it, you know, but at a low level, I remember as a kid, that sends you a message of, oh my God, there's a kind of hostility. And
every single time we traveled, my dad would get taken away at the airport, searched and questioned. My lovely, soft, sweet dad, just because he was Arabic, so therefore very, very high chance, obviously, that he's going to be a terrorist. And that goes right back all the way through our childhood. We would see my dad get taken off every time. We just accept it. We didn't even question it. It was just like, and my mum always used to say to us, oh, it's probably because they kind of recognize him from a film or something. So they think they've seen him on some sort of wanted list. But now as I became grown up, I thought, did mum just used to say that to us to make us feel, I must ask my mum if she just used to say that to make us feel better.
Can I just also ask, what do you think of that clip? When you see someone broken in that way, have you hit an equivalent breaking point? Pacman67, Owen Jones did a great video on the BBC's bias towards reporting Palestine. Facts and stats were produced, and it was so blatant they had
it's fantastic.
It was disgusting.
You're right, Pacman67. Thank you.
I'm just dealing with an evolving story over here with a friend that I'm just absolutely fascinated by. So if I seem distracted, I am distracted, but it's interesting.
So absolutely, and check that Owen Jones out because it will really help you understand even further just how outrageous the BBC have been. It's just I just want to mention this. I want to be able to return to this if possible. Do it later today. Do it.
Well, no, I just want to mention it. But there's a clip that I've seen of Netanyahu with members of the so-called public in Israel that's on his Twitter feed, and I watched it, and my AI deep fake head flagged up. Now, I've sent it off to a friend who is putting it through the various testing tools for AI. And I'm just waiting for him to just confirm whether what he's just told me is relating to this clip. And if so, I am going to do something about it, because I think if it's true, we have a very concerning evolution to Israel's propaganda war.
Yes, we'll do a separate video for that.
Yeah.
MS, don't worry, Nadia. Same here with me. Even when I was going to the US with my daughter and wife, they called out my name before departure and checked my bags. US is the worst.
Wow.
I got taken off in America because of my name.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Homecoming. My frustration comes from not enough people seeing the truth of all this. It's one huge psyop.
Yeah.
Guys,
please, can I ask you to just hit the subscribe button and share? You can screen record, you can do whatever, you can use our content in whatever way. But if you can share the stuff about, our content around Israel and Gaza, we are really, really, really thankful. When you look at that report from the BBC, and that report states that the BBC zero times asked if they're Israeli contributors from the Israeli, I suppose, administration or government or whatever, ambassadors, difficult questions about the situation with the death of Gazans. So, please share our content wherever you can. Hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. Just in the spirit of, we showed a clip yesterday. I just want to show you another clip I found of people at the White House, just to show that, religion really isn't a driving force in American foreign policy.
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word. Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us, and we are taking the land. We thank you, oh Lord. You have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now, from the capital of our nation, that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your...
And released through your lip filler.
And as you were...
Why do I have such a problem that she has so much lip filler and yet she's preaching to us about God and about what the world should be?
How petrifying.
There we go.
Okay, moving on.
This is Laura Lou. She's had too much coffee.
She's had far too much coffee.
Should we have a little moment of
lightness?
Lightness.
Should we show this?
Brevity.
Do you want us to set up this clip of a couple arriving at an accommodation?
This, without a doubt, is 100% Mark and I. And wherever we go somewhere and we're doing our couple does, you know, our travel show thing, we have never been able to film it perfect, have we? Because within 2 seconds. But anyway, watch.
I think, yeah, this is up. Oh, this is so sick. This is so sick.
Wow.
Look at this bed. Look at this view. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want to get unpacked?
When did...
Anybody else?
Oh my God.
Just say yes
so
or no.
true.
Anybody else identify, because there aren't many people, because I always think everybody's like that. And you go away with
So
other
funny.
people and they go, oh, I've just got to put everything in the cupboard. And I think, what now?
Let's just watch it
It's
once
like-
more.
I think, yeah, this is up. Oh, this is so sick. This is so sick.
Wow.
Look at this bed. Look at this view. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to get unpacked?
Yeah. When did...
Oh, there's quite a few yeses. Oh, proud of you
Yes,
guys.
100 times me.
Me too, but I cannot believe you don't
I
unpack
never
on the
unpack on day
first
one.
day. You're so organised. I would have 100% said you're a first day packer.
Anna Marie Shellard, my husband's taking me away this weekend. This is like a premonition. Yeah.
You can never know. You could try to change. We're lucky because we're both the same.
Yeah, true.
So we don't.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny. Okay,
So
Jessie J.
I want to move on to Jessie J. We spoke about her a couple of weeks ago with her. And in fact, we had a clip from my friend Hannah, who is dealing with stage 4 breast cancer, and from Kaz, who actually has been cancer-free for now 6 years. And they were talking about how much it does mean when somebody in the public eye talks about breast cancer, because, oh my God, I can't remember what the percentage is, but a really big percentage of women that still don't check themselves. And the sooner you check, the sooner you find, the sooner things can be sorted out. And Jessie J was talking about how she has to go in and have a mastectomy, and she knew that the press would almost definitely start accusing her of breast implants and all of this. And she promised to stay like honest throughout, some lows, some highs, because that's the way of the world. So this is something she posted yesterday. Look at that. Imagine how scary that was to see that. That's her gorgeous husband. They're so in love. This was her going home. You can see there the drains of her from her breasts. That's her little boy Sky, who she absolutely adores.
Shall I show? I've done a pull together of all of the short clips. Shall I?
Yeah, and then
that?
do the clips.
Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hospital for 6.5 hours, and I'm still waiting to go down to the theater.
This made me cry this morning. This made me cry. Can't be long.
I was imagining the sky saying, "Love you, mommy," and I was saying, "I love you back." It's so sore.
I get to see my boy tomorrow, my mum and dad, and just hope I get some sleep. They put a drain on your breast, so
Warning, blood coming up.
a little goji berry smoothie for the ones and twos. Is that you? What are you doing? Are you eating?
Isn't he
What are you
bored?
eating?
Isn't he bored?
Egg.
Is it yummy?
As you are doing.
Look a bit different, doesn't it?
Look at that. That is insane. Oh my god. Yeah, so the water and the blood comes out of mummy's boobie and comes out of the tube and goes into the bottle. Yeah, you don't mess with it though, baby. Don't spin it.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
Get out.
Someone just said there, Claire Mazus, yeah, we'll just put that. I think her candid honesty will help a huge number of people. Bless her.
Absolutely.
And I think it is that fine line. A lot of people, you know, in terms of showing material like this, it is about, in a sense, demystifying. It's why I think it's important. People often ask, well, why are you talking about it? Why are you showing it? If I'm saying, I'm thinking of something like bipolar or addiction, it's just so that people can watch it and there's mystery and unknowability. Good Ship Lollipop made a really important point there. I'm thinking of all the women who go through this on their own. And I was just, you're absolutely right. And I talk about sometimes even around things like, just thinking of our own medical issues, addiction and bipolar, how one would go through that when you don't have a partner or a loved one or family that caters for you. And of course, she's got all of that. And she clearly, you know, appreciates all of that. But I just think it's so brave. It's so bold. It's so important. It's so... and every single shot meaningful, and it shows that yes, it's difficult, but it shows that yes, it's kind of doesn't need to be held in sort of not high regard but dark, sinister regard. It's, you know, there's a sort of step process to it all.
Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because there was something that she wrote that I put down, but you know, just to paraphrase her, she was like, you know, she talks a bit about when another post she talks about, I was panicking, really, really panicking. And I ate a corn on the cob. I can't believe how you can't panic when you're eating a corn on the cob. So she puts in the humor and, you know, she said some days it's really totally terrifying. But 90% of the time I'm me. So I'm going to I'll share all that stuff. And I think there's something about, because she is very famous and the press would be looking for stuff to write and she's got control of the narrative, which is so important. But she's such a huge talent. As I said last time we spoke about her, I've met her a couple of times on Loose Women. She's a fucking gorgeous, down-to-earth bird. And I think a lot of people with cancer or being touched by cancer in any way will really, like you say, really get something from her bravery and sharing. So that was all we wanted to say.
Zoe,
really.
It's a shame how people on too focused on people who are celebs when there are so many people struggling, if you get me. Yeah, which is why I think it's important when a celeb, for want of a better expression, goes through it, the ordinariness of their experience is shared.
It's, the relatability. Right. They are just humans.
Cherry D, knowledge is comforting for me. The unknown is scary. I'd want to be informed. She is great.
She really is.
Joe, I just want to share this, very moving. My mum died from breast cancer in 1999. I was just 22. She was only 48. God. I'm now 48. Oh, sweetheart. And the last 5 years terrifies me as she fought it for 5 years. My best friend, sweetheart Joe, sending you love.
Never get over it, do you?
And I know there'll be so many people with their own experiences of this.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It does bring up so much for people, doesn't it? And I know my friends with breast cancer will be talking about it today as well and what she's done and what it means. Francis Winrow, one of my mates who I played rugby with, had testicle cancer during lockdown. Every Zoom lockdown pub we had, we constantly took the mick out of him. Even now, he likes that to keep him human, And this is the thing as well, isn't it?
Gallows.
There is no rule book on how you're supposed to deal with this stuff. And I really hate it when people judge anyone for the way that they deal with grief or their own illness. I think that we are all so different, and those differences are what makes humankind. And I love that. It's just a different way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, guys, just again, please hit the subscribe button if you can. It really helps Mark and I out. We work really hard on this channel. It's just the two of us. And I love you, Michelle, of course.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Hang on, I didn't create a thing. I want to talk about Bezos. Do you want to just show one of your? Do you want to talk about the?
Hang on. What is there another silly one in between? No. What was that one? Okay.
No, they're both tab commercials.
This is, which is the first with the guy in? Is it this one, Mark?
Yes.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this popped up. Really listen to the words. Okay, here we go. We love a bit of nostalgia, don't we?
Has anyone seen this Tab commercial from the 1970s?
When you can't be with him, be in his mind sticker.
When you can't be with him, be in his mind. Be a mind sticker with a shape he can't forget.
Don't you want to have a good shape? He wants you with a good shape. Shape with Tab.
Tab can help you stay in his mind. It's sugar-free and it tastes better than any Diet Cola.
Oh my gosh.
Because the Coca-Cola Company wouldn't have it any other way. You know, keeping your shape in shape has its rewards.
Oh my god.
What
the fuck?
You're a mind
sticker. Now,
I used to love Tab.
I was saying to Mark, you know, we give a lot of space, don't we, to this to our generation and what they're fed through social media and through everything. But if you think about it, we didn't have a wash of stuff.
No.
So in a way, these adverts made a huge impact on us.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
A huge impact.
In fact, you had so little being pushed at you that this
But when it
this
was,
is like
it
a
was like, this is
truck.
the truth.
Yeah.
I don't remember being told that I must be a mind stamp,
And a mind sticker.
a mind sticker, but I do remember that Tab was going to give me the shape that every man would want.
See, it's interesting. I remember Tab being drunk by members of my family who, and I realize now looking back that it must have all been about this advertising.
Well, I absolutely loved the graphics of the Tab. The can was just so American, and we were all so obsessed with America. If only we knew the evil that was being meted out, even at that time. But so it was everything. It was American.
Keep your shape in shape.
Keep your shape in
Can we
shape.
show
Because
the
that's
other
what
one? Because
Coca-Cola
it's even more shocking. Because just spare for a moment. I always have this weird ADHD moment where you're listening to it. It's the horror of it. It's the messaging. It's the disbelief. It's humorous. But then I can't help but imagine when you watch this next one, think of the people singing it in a recording studio, actually singing it.
Well, because we didn't think there's anything wrong with it.
Be a mind sticker.
When you can't be with him, be in his mind. Be a mind sticker.
Be a mind sticker. She's stuck in his mind. She's a mind sticker. Mind sticker.
Have a shape he can't forget. Tab can help. It's sugar-free. How does it taste? Here's a clue. The Coca-Cola Company makes it, and Tab tastes better than any Diet Cola. Tab is a taste to remember, or a shape he can't forget.
Don't you want to have a good shape? He wants you with a good shape. Why don't you keep your shape in shape? It's great to have a good shape.
He's in his mind.
He's in his mind. Tennis out.
Enjoy Tab and keep your shape
No
in
cellulite,
shape.
nothing wobbling.
Can
She's
I just
a
say,
mind
when she
sticker.
throws a ball up and catches it, Nads, that's how you. That's exactly how you catch a ball when you throw it up. I just want to show this. This is Maddie.
Stuck in his mind. She's a
She tries to be nonchalant.
mind sticker.
Now watch.
Have a shape
It's
he
behind
can't
her.
forget.
Whoa! Do you notice they obviously had a tight budget because she wasn't playing tennis with anyone? She was just walking around the court picking a ball up.
Isn't it insane?
Are you my
Can
mind
you think?
sticker?
Can you think of any ad that when if you were brought up 70s, 80s, that you now could look back on? I think we should do a whole.
Well, I think
thing
we
of
could do
them.
some targeted sexism. I mean, let's not forget
Yeah,
the
let's do
flake
some-
advert, where essentially fellatio was just made part of eating any chocolate.
Oh, Dawny! Oh no, that song in my head now. I know we're all going to be singing Mind Sticker.
Make sure you.
And people are going to be like, "What the hell are you singing?"
Sounds like a horse with no name. So it's just total patriarchal indoctrination.
With a horse with no name. Yeah, it does.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay. What did I just say to myself? Oh, Bezos. Let me just pull this slide in. Just 1 second. I've just got had so many clips I was bringing in this morning that I failed to. Now, Jeff Bezos. What does everyone make of Jeff Bezos and his wondrous, wondrous wife? This is the story that in Venice, by all accounts, he'd booked up almost every single hotel around the sort of main canals of Venice. Here's some images of him at a foam party, very long lensed photos of a foam party on his $1/3 billion yacht. Can you believe that? Look, 371 million, no, £1/3 billion super yacht.
Oh my God, that.
I mean,
a foam party at your age. Oh,
I mean,
it's
a bit creepy, isn't it?
So creepy.
So yeah, so Jeff Bezos. So anyway, so there's been huge activism from Venetians. Various activist groups have come together under the slogan "No Space for Bezos." Here she is with apparently Kim Kardashian as one of the invitees. They look like they've literally been polished, don't they? Like conkers. And no space for Bezos. So there's been huge opposition in Venice. I know, Tori, if you're in the room, I think you've just messaged me, but I can't open your messages actually, sweetie. But Jeff Bezos has been forced to move his wedding after protests. Activists in Venice protesting his star-studded wedding are claiming victory after the Amazon mogul was forced to cancel his use of a venue and switch to a better protected location. Bezos is on the run, a leading protester said. This is a crazy victory for a small group of people with no money who went up against one of the richest men on the planet.
I love it.
Yeah. So listen to this. Guests are due to fly in on 95 private jets.
That is disgusting.
With airports in Venice and Treviso and Verona all used to avoid disruption to normal air traffic.
Trample over a tiny place like that? It's disgusting.
Wow.
Oh, it proves everything. We're American, the billionaire just stamping over every. Oh, it makes me sick to my stomach.
It's quite repulsive.
So glad they did that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, guys,
that's it.
That's it for today. So, as we say, hit the subscribe button, and to our members, we will see you at 8 o'clock tonight for the live we were supposed to do last night, but I was at the hospital with my daughter, and don't worry, she's fine now. So we'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Take care, guys. Have a lovely day. Thank you.